We are learning new details this morning about the victims of Friday night shooting Rampage as the UC Santa Barbara community mourns the deaths of their classmates. We have live team coverage starting with KCAL 9's Joy Benedict at a temporary memorial in Isla Vista. Joy.
Amy, the morning has really just begun for this Isla Vista community. These students who endured and saw just so much out here Friday night. This is one of a couple of memorials that seems to be popping up here in the Isla Vista community. This is a spot where Chris Martinez was shot to death. Inside, you can see the candles, the flowers, the memories and the prayers, and then right above them, of course, the bullet holes that still are in the window, reminding those passing by of exactly what happened here in this community. But 6 people, we are told, are dead. 3 of them have not yet been identified, and these are the 3 that have been identified. Students Veronika Weiss, 19 years old, Katherine Cooper, 22 years old, both were killed outside the Alpha V sorority house Friday night. And then, of course, Chris Martinez, 20 years old, who was killed inside the Deli Mart here in Isla Vista. Also, we have some video from inside the Deli Mart when that shooting took place, and you can see how frantic the students were as there were several of them inside this market, and they went scrambling when they heard the gunshots. Chris Martinez is not seen in this video. He was shot and killed off camera, but certainly a very frantic and chaotic scene, not only here, but all over this community. And last night, students here remembered those that were lost and, of course, the ordeal that they all went through as thousands stood in silence with candles, remembering, saying prayers. Then they walked the streets where so many young students saw and heard those gunshots Friday night. Investigators say that those gunshots started ringing out at about 9:30. That's when they started getting the 911 calls. They say Elliot Roger, the shooter, was simply driving up and down the streets of Isla Vista, opening fire, randomly shooting people. In addition to the 6 people who were killed, 13 more were injured in the melee. Most of them were shot. However, 4 of them were struck by his vehicle while they were riding their bicycles here in this community. And there are a lot of questions that still remain this morning about how this happened. And of course, looking for information on those 3 roommates that we are told were stabbed to death inside Elliot Rogers' apartment. How did that happen? When did it happen? I spoke with the sheriff earlier today. He says they believe it happened possibly 24 hours before the shooting took place. Nonetheless, certainly a crazy scene and a crazy situation that they are trying to figure out exactly what went wrong.
In his manifesto, he talked about killing his roommates while they slept. That may have been something that happened, and you know, we don't know at this point completely, but he obviously had coldly and very calculatedly put not only that aspect of his plan, but all of this diabolical plan that he had put together and executed parts of it.
Right now, the sheriff is still waiting to identify those 3 roommates who were killed inside that apartment. They're waiting for an autopsy report. They are also waiting for a toxicology report, because another big question that still remains is how was this young man able to overcome 3 of his roommates at the same time in order to stab them to death, something that is certainly a tedious process in itself. So that they are hoping will be answered by the autopsy report. And of course, those identifications are expected either later today or possibly not even until tomorrow, depending on when they can notify the families of those 3 men who died. Reporting live from Isla Vista, Joy Benedict, KCAL 9 News.